What's up, guys? I decided I'm gonna record a bit of video. I forgot to clean my glasses. I just noticed. Oh well. Anyway, just want to talk and chat. With some. What's the way to put it? I want to drive and talk. That's what I meant to say. So here we go. I didn't want to put music on, but you know, there's that copyright thing. I'm gonna have to check into that. Kind of figure out what I can do and what I can't, and how I can do and all that. It's necessary. You need to find a way around that. Copyright things, or a way to allow it. There's got to be a way to allow it. Country and some classic rock, and maybe some rhythm and blues. Be pretty nice in a video, wouldn't it? Yes, it would. Bird. I don't know if you could see it on camera or not. Probably my crow. One of them. You know, they're my spirit animals, I guess you could call them. See, animals are connected to you in a spiritual way when they care about you, when they want to be around you. I gotta watch the road. And they look after me. First time I ever seen them, after I actually had a kind of a consecration, I guess you could call it, by them. And I think by the Holy Ghost as well. I'm not sure. One of them higher spirits. Could have even been Archangel Michael or the Spirit of Christ. But it was definitely strong. And it brought me out of a really deep depression. I talk about that on one of my earlier videos. I think the first one. Somewhere's around there. It was a really spiritual thing. There wasn't nothing religious about it. It was something that you don't see happen to everybody. Some might call it a Kundalini type of awakening, but it didn't keep, you know, well, it lasted a while, I guess. A couple of weeks or so. That feeling, oh, it was so intense. I can't even describe it. I guess it might be like a heroin rush, but I've never tried heroin, so I wouldn't know. But it was a rush of spiritual energy from the supreme beings of our higher realms. Lasted a good, I don't know, it was probably 30 seconds of straight inrush. It was so intense. It brought me out of a depression that was so bad. I was wanting to put a rope around my neck, but after that prayer, boy, that saved me. Saved me long enough to get through it. The hard part there. And but me and my ways, I created more hard situations for myself, and God forbid my pain taking me away. It got through it again. And then again, just a little while ago. I have to go slow through that mud. It can be a little bit sloppy. So, what I'm doing right now is going to get some propane. I gotta stay out most of the day, wait for my road to dry up. Because it's muddy right now as it thaws out around here. And tonight's probably going to be warmer with this overcast in the sky. If it's showing up on the video, I don't know. It's not real thick. But even thin as it is, it acts like a bit of a blanket. Holds in the day heat, you know. Not all the heat, but a little bit of it. I rather like it when there's an overcast that does that. Because out here in the desert open area, it's chilly at night. Even in summertime. It's not freezing cold in summertime night, but you gotta light a little fire if you're camping, you know? Can't just be no fire. It gets a little chilly. Sometimes there's no way to do that. It's too windy some nights, but yeah. If you're ever gonna live out in the middle of nowhere, mountains or not, be prepared and ready for anything. Because you can't always use something to keep yourself comfortable. It might not be usable all the time. Sometimes you'll find that you can use something for a long time. But I'm, well, quite frankly, ready for about anything, just in case. Because there's been times I've been, even when well, like that teepee shortage we had, that was kind of a ridiculous, funny thing, but, you know, I didn't even think about it, but I had 2 weeks worth of teepee, and I was glad I did. And then I still needed some, you know, later on, and had to search around to get it. Anyway, you know, and it was fun in a way. It made life exciting, is the way I seen it. Made it kind of fun. Like a witch hunt or a Where's Waldo hunt kind of thing, you know. Yeah. But aside from the fact that we know that was all ridiculous, dumb planning of companies not doing their stocking right, you know, little dumb things. It was fun, you know. Fun to have that experience that we never had before. Yeah, I always tell people make lemonade out of lemons. That's what I did. I'm gonna drive, probably shouldn't take too long to get to the gas station. And then I'll end the video. I'm taking the longer way over there. And you know, as little traffic as there is at this intersection, there was a major accident here not but 2 years ago. Yeah. They didn't stop. Hopefully they're okay. I don't know. Or maybe they did stop and they just didn't see the car. That could happen. I was in an accident like that with somebody that bumped into the back of the vehicle I was in. We moved up, me and my ex-wife when we were still married. Stopped again, and all of a sudden, boom! Destroyed trunk. Destroyed SUV or whatever it was they had. I think it was an SUV. Yeah. I'm going to pay more attention to this for a minute because this thing don't have very much air in the tires because of the mud. So it's kind of squishy. The alignment's alright, but it needs I think it needs a new track bar. I guess. Could be a tie rod. But it seems the alignment's alright, so probably the track bar. Nonetheless, when it moves a little bit, it changes the attitude of the front end. Especially out here where these roads aren't the best. And they're pretty flat. Pretty flat. You know when you got front end parts that need to be changed because you get on a bad road and don't like to go straight. Even the steering gear box with a little slop in it will have that problem. Cause death wobble. Yes, it will. Just like a bad track bar when it gets bad enough. But this ain't doing it yet, or if I keep it under 60. Alright. You know, I got this philosophy. Why use your blinker if no one's around? There's a laugh for you. Yep. That's exactly, well, out here, a police officer, if there is one, be a sheriff, probably wouldn't bother pulling you over for that, but flying around that turn, he would. Yes, you bet he would. But they come out here when it's necessary. It's a quiet area. They're needed more in town. You know, we're good out here. And that's the way you live out in an open area, because you have respect for things more so. Life seems to hit you harder with reality. So you're naturally more sensitive to how you treat life. And that's not a spiritual aspect, that's a human nature. Right down to the middle of your mind. When you know something well, you respect it. Knowing life well is not always the easiest thing to do, though. It takes a lot of courage. Courage that I didn't have when I was a young boy. Just couldn't do things on my own without someone's help. Then I met this guy. Most profound person I ever met in my life, and I didn't even expect him to be one of them people. He died almost a year ago, 10 months ago. His name was Bill Thompson. And he taught me how to be independent. Yep. like another dad, but not my dad. Definitely not like a dad, like a real good friend. Not a best friend though, just a good friend. Because me and him weren't really very intertwinable as hanging out type of buddies, but sometimes we did. But it was through his caring heart and ideals that I learned how to be independent and caring towards myself. He was like an awakened soul for me, but he didn't act it out. He didn't practice it to bring it on to a lot of people, you know. But he did sometimes, his own way. But he also had kind of a financial upheaval once in a while and spent his money all the time sometimes. So, yeah, we all have our little problems. But that was his only thing I tried to help him with. And I think I did sometimes, because I've always been good with handling money. So, although I can spend it quick too. Yes, I can. But I like to save it if I can manage it. These days, things are expensive now, so I don't spend a whole lot on much of anything. Because, you know, this life is still kind of spendy. Despite the fact that I don't have a rent to pay, I have lots of fuel costs to pay because of the driving distances. Propane's expensive. And it adds up when I got to use a generator for the fuel that I use for that as well. That's in the winter time. Summertime has its financial troubles as well, but not always. Such as if I seem to always buy more gas when I'm driving around in the summer. That makes things a little bit short sometimes. I was helping out this old guy a couple of years back. You know, and he'd buy me gas sometimes. That was helpful. Me and him had a falling out. Just mishaps of communication. Gotta be careful. Try to put yourself in the other person's shoes so you don't upset them. Especially if they're a little bit touchy. He's alright though. He just misjudged my intentions once or twice. Got too mad at me. And I got a sour stomach because of it. Didn't want to really help him out anymore. Not that I don't care. Because I do. Especially about old folks. But couldn't care for him no more. Not in the active way anyway. But in my heart, I hope that things will go well for him. And I know he's been getting help from his son. So that'd be the next person he'd probably be able to go to. Or another friend of his. Possibly. I don't know, he's kind of hard on people, but that's one of the things he'll learn to get through as time goes on. Yeah. That ego being kept under control is one of our biggest feats of life. And some people master it when they're young, some people don't. It took me probably till I was around 38, 39, I don't know, a little later. Yeah, I just let it out. I still do sometimes. I'll say what I want. It's not always a good idea though. Nope, it sure isn't. And I know you know that. And there's so many things I know that I can try to teach to people, like working on small engines, for example. If they're not a mechanic, they have no idea what I'm saying. But I wish they did. I really wish they did. You know, it's like that sometimes with life. But I still talk about what I got to say if it's important. That's just the way I am. I don't hold back. Whoop. Back on the road there. I'm looking around making sure I ain't passed my turn yet. Nope, not yet. Because there's that bunch of trees over there, way out there. I'll be going past that on a little, well, round part of a block. And then going towards the southwest after that. Or southeast, actually. I think. I'm headed southeast right now. Almost. So yeah, it would be more south. Going 40 miles an hour. On some of these roads way out here, a guy can move a little faster than 40. But if he does it on a road that's not in great shape, it's going to give him a hole in the tire eventually. So don't recommend more than 40 if it's got some damage. 45 is probably alright on a good road. Much faster than that, it starts tearing through your gas and ruins your tires quickly. That's why they don't bother anybody out here. Ain't nobody wanting to speed on these roads. Not really. You might see it once in a while, but not long, because he gets a bunch of flat tires, you know, and he realizes, I can't do that. I better stop doing that. And they do. 40, 45. Pretty good. It's fast enough, really. Think about it, you're on the dirt. With a, well, let's face it, a vehicle that's not designed for racing on the dirt. Unless it's got big fat tires and big springies and shockies, and this one's got regular stuff. You know, you ever play them racing games, you know, you get the upgrades like that. You gotta have the upgrades. About another minute or so, or less, probably. Oh, there's a sign right up there, I see it. This is a Hunt Road out here in Burl. Or no, Antelope Road. Hunt Road was the other one I was on going to the Burl Highway. This is 1200 East. Hunt Road is, or Antelope Road is 6800 North. It looked like it said. I think it's, yeah, I think that's what it said. They need to make those signs bigger, don't they? Those green ones. They're never big enough. Double the size of them. Make it easy for drivers. Why make it difficult? Yeah, fellas, we're gonna have a sweet world. We're gonna make it like that. We're tired of this ridiculous world, aren't we? I mean, I'm talking about like the, signs and things, Yep. And so many other things. Let's abolish it all and just have cool things. Sounds good to me. And everyone else, I imagine. A good example of a positive change would be these music creators don't care if we put their music on YouTube videos because it's bringing them out into the spotlight anyway. So what the heck? That'd be a good positive change for both parties involved. See what happens when you don't think greedy? Positive happens. And the lock is released. And people can go on flowing naturally. And receiving naturally. Everyone. That is the key to living a smooth and happy life. For everyone, I suppose. I mean, those who want to get involved. Not everybody's going to be wanting to be so smooth with their life. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. It's what we are in a natural way, like the animals are naturally. But we're not exactly animals. We are mammals. Manimals. Got a couple of spots of mud coming up on the Jeep here. Oh well. Some places are a bit muddy. There's that place with all the trees right there. A little muddier there now one spot than it looked like. I'm going to keep doing the best I can to educate people of the natural ways of their spirit, because nobody in the world really teaches it except for a select few these days. I don't know how many that is. It's well over 1,000, but that's, just a little drop in the world's population. So, what I do until it grows, a lot more is going to take a lot more to get around to the world, but eventually it will. People will probably still practice their religion, but they'll have the background and knowledge I got. Possibly they might not be religious and decide to be like I am. Either way, it's going to be the way of the world, as it once was and will be again. A real old history, what's not really written. I don't know why it was. I suppose somebody took it away, didn't want us to know. We were once a peaceful race here on Earth. So all together as one. The whole human race. There's a house somebody building there. Been there at least 10 months for them to get the money to do the siding and the roof. Pretty expensive. But they're doing it by hand from scratch. That's bold. You know, I don't know them, but I just see what's going on there, you know. Paying attention here. Kind of an art driving on the roads like this when they're wet. Luckily for me, it's not muddy. Open range. That's kind of funny because I ain't never seen any cows on this road in the 10 years I've been in this valley. Couple, 2-3 years back, a guy got in a wreck with a cow over on Antelope Road, I think it was, at night. Not sure how a cow got out there, but he did, or she. Yeah, some of them are black, so you can't see them until you're right up to them. So, yeah, at night you want to go 30, 35. If you got really bright lights, you can go faster. Some people don't. These ones get dimmed out when the dirt gets on them, so sometimes I don't. Just a lot of dust. I mean, can you tell? I'm so used to it, I like it now. Gives me vitamins. Minerals more like it, but yeah, vitamins. Think about another 2 miles or so. I don't know. Maybe 4 miles. It's over by the mountains over there. After I get to Propane, I'm going to take a short drive through those mountains, make another video of that. So you'll be seeing that one uploaded after this one. And then the little link to it will be at the end of this one when it's done uploaded. And it'll be in the box down below the video. Guys, I have to tell you, I'm proud of everyone out there. I've been seeing the struggle y'all are going through. I have, and you're handling it so well. Proud of you. I surely am. Because I know what it's like to go through struggle. Oh boy, do I. I live life once with $1.50 a day for 6 months. So I know what struggle is like. Back when I lived with my dad, we was having a real hard time. My mom was separated from him because he wasn't getting a job. Ironic. Well, it took us a while to get something going, but we did eventually. It caused me all the back trouble I have now to get worse, but the real cause was the three-wheeler accident. And I didn't know the damage it did to my vertebrae until later on in life. Yeah, that three-wheeler accident that I almost went down the ravine on, it was hard on my back. Because not only did I twist my back rolling over and have a machine go on me, I had to push it back up on the trail using my back against a tree with the limb that saved my life. Yeah, it went right through the backpack loop. Stopped me from rolling down that ravine. Woo, that was a close one. I just used my back against a tree after I got that three-wheeler on its wheels and rolled it over there after I couldn't get it to go up on the trail any other way, and pulled the back wheels up on the trail and got behind the front of it, and pushed as hard as I could with my back on the tree. It took every ounce of energy I had to get that thing to start inching that front tire up onto the trail. That's how steep that was. Yep. That was sore too, from the wreck. Which broke a handle and broke the back fender and the front fender and bent the handlebar a little bit. But I was alright. Basically. Scratched up my hand good from going into the ground when the handlebar went into the ground, you know, on the right side. Wasn't bleeding too bad. All I had to do was wrap it up with a piece of paper towel and put my glove on, and that was fine. Because I didn't have the gloves on. Should have. That's why you should always ride with gloves, no matter what. You know, just a pair of regular mechanics gloves or something like that. Yeah, knee pads. I should have had knee pads for the first accident I had on that three-wheeler. Was a kind of a rough one. I had many little tiny problems, like rolling it over a little bit and having to put my foot out, you know. But there's a couple of times, the one time when I put my foot out and caught a tree limb that was low, and that was not a good outcome for my leg. But I still got back on and rode. Didn't hurt any worse, and kind of started feeling better. I just must have stretched the tendon good. But my knee really got pushed into the dirt and rocks, so that made my knee pretty sore. If I had had a knee pad on, it wouldn't have been so rough. But anyway, three-wheelers are kind of dangerous anyway. Like being sporty on a motorcycle, you're kind of risking it, but if you know what you're doing, you're alright. Three-wheelers, you gotta know what you're doing too. And there's those times when I tried things with it that I didn't know how to do. Like going up that steep trail when I rolled off It was too loose. I didn't know any better. When I caught my leg on that tree limb, I had no idea how fast I was actually moving and how quickly something could grab my foot putting it out there. Yeah, but lucky fate was being on my side that day, and my hands were just happened to be on the brakes, both brake handles, while I was moving along, and so when it pulled on my foot, both my hands pulled on the brakes. Instantly stopped the machine. Because it pulled my, the machine jerked over with my foot grabbed onto the limb, and at the same time my foot came off of the limb, but it was already under the tire. So somehow it didn't get pulled up too much, but just kind of almost up to my thigh. But it could have been worse. It could have been a real terribly bad nut crack, It did scratch the inside of my thigh on the foot pedal or something, or the tire guard. I don't know. That hurt. It felt like a terrible rug burn, almost. But really, I was doing the splits anyway. The time I got stopped. Don't mess around on an ATV. That's what I'm gonna say about that. I'm almost to the gas station. Well, a 40-minute long video. Wow. That's alright, huh? You guys should start having fun like this, even if you're not serious about making a big channel. It's just a lot of fun. YouTube ain't all that bad. They have some rules. You gotta be respectful on it. They used to be a little bit more serious, but they've loosened up a bit. They kind of reconciled some of the mistakes they've made in the past, which is good for them, because that means more business and happier customers. Businesses that make happy customers always get return customers. Number one rule of business: happy customers. No matter what the rule book says, happy customers is what you want. Alrighty, I'll talk to you guys later. I'm gonna get some propane. You guys have a good one. I'll see you in the next video, or you'll see them going through these mountains here. If I can. I don't know how much snow's up there. Talk to you in a bit, or in a day or two, or whatever it takes to get them uploaded. Have a good one. Love you guys. Yep.